Well, I got the 2 gas cans filled. Before I did that, I fueled up the mini bike, I fueled up the tractor, I fueled up the generator. Getting prepared for the upcoming weekend for family get together. And they're going to be riding the mini bike and who knows what else I'm going to have. And I've been working on my RV too. I had to flush the antifreeze out of the system and get that up and going. Made sure the air conditioner's working, the refrigerators are turned on. So that's ready to go for the summer. I have a couple camping trips planned, but one coming up here fairly soon. So I just want to make sure that's ready to go. And then I restocked all of the sundries, whatever I had that would freeze in there, I took out for the winter. Well, I put it back in so it would all, like shampoo and stuff like that. But I've been busy. And sometimes I actually feel overwhelmed because my schedule is just boom, boom, boom. I got an old friend coming over here in about an hour that I haven't seen in a long time. He's bringing lunch, so that should be a fun time. But anyway, I wanted to tell you what's been happening. We had the 4th of July family get together, and we were at my brother's shop. Well, if you watched the video of the parade, you saw that my brother's son has Kawasaki KLX pit bike, which is a small, about the size of this mini bike, but it's more of a motocross bike. It's built a little more rugged. The mini bike just has the rigid frame. There's no suspension on the rear end at all. You just have the shocks up on the front here that are pretty stiff, that take some of the beating, but if you run this thing too hard, you're gonna break some welds. You don't want to be jumping it or anything like that. But the pit bike's real tough. It can take stuff like that. That's what they're designed for. And so while we were there, my brother's son let my grandson ride the pit bike up and down through the parking lot. And I don't know if that was a mistake or not, because after that, my grandson, he had to have a pit bike. And so my son and we began looking online, and we found a couple options that were used bikes that were for sale. And I was able to find the one and kind of wheeled and dealed with the guy and was able to get a pretty fair price on it, and he accepted my offer. So I wanted to set up a time where we could go pick up the bike. Now, my grandson had saved up with his allowance and everything and doing odd jobs about $500. So he thought he was going to buy this, but it was a little more than $500. So I told my son, I said, if it's okay with you, I don't want to step on any toes. I don't want to do something out of line. But, if he wants this bike, I'll cover the difference. And, you don't even have to tell him. We can just get the bike and go from there. So anyway, I accepted the offer from the guy, and then trying to set up a time where we could go pick up the bike, it just wasn't happening. I kept saying, hey, can we come today? No, I can't come today. What about tomorrow? No, you can't come tomorrow. Well, give me a time and day when we can come and get this bike, because we want it. And the guy wouldn't respond. He was just being kind of aloof. Well, luckily, I started doing a little research, and I found the guy's Facebook page. And one of when you scroll down through his posts, it was like the third post down. Here was this exact same bike that he was selling. He blew the motor up on it and then rebuilt it and took it out and rode it some more. And then he broke the timing chain and tore up the motor again and had to rebuild it again. And this is the bike he was trying to sell me. So I went back to him and I said, look, I just saw your Facebook page, and I don't want a bike that's you blew up twice and rebuilt and you're trying to unload. And he came up with a whole bunch of excuses as to why I should buy this bike now, but I said no. I'm not buying it. So I called my son and I said, look, that bike that I was going to pick up, it's a no-go. I said, it's junk. The kid's rebuilt it twice. He's blown it up twice. And I said, we don't want it. Well, yeah, I mean, you can get these pit bikes. You can get these Japanese knockoffs for pretty cheap. I mean, you can probably find some for under $1,000. And but my brother that has the decks and fence business, Avery Enterprise, he's big on dirt bikes, and they have gone through all kinds of pit bikes. And he said, don't ever get one of those Japanese or Chinese pit bikes. He said they're total junk. The welds are going to break on them. They're going to fall apart. Everything breaks on them. They're made really. That's why they're so cheap, because they're junk. So he said, I would recommend getting a Kawasaki myself. He said the Kawasaki KLX is bulletproof. You're not going to have any problems with it. Well, we continued looking and we couldn't find anything. Everything was overpriced or it was junk. And so I told my son, I said, let's go up to this dealer over in Cuyahoga Falls. And they're kind of it's not a Kawasaki dealer. They're just kind of a sports off-road, and they sell all kinds of stuff there. But they're one of the best prices in the area. So we went up there and we started looking around. Right away, boom, there was a brand new bike, exactly what we were looking for. And it looked like everything, the price was right and everything. So it was a little more than I expected, though. But I thought, oh well, I'll pull the trigger on. Well, we didn't let my grandson on. We told him, he was with us, and we said, we're just looking around. We just want to see what they got. We're not buying anything. But I took the sales guy aside, and I said, go ahead and write this thing up. Well, I'll tell you what, man, they get you, they have their sales price, and then they have their regular price on there, so it looks like you're getting a heck of a deal. But by the time they add this shipping charge on there, and I go, what's the shipping charge? He goes, that's the charge that we have to pay for them to ship it here to our shop. And I said, well, why am I paying that? Well, that's just standard. That's what all dealers do. That's how they do it. Well, why isn't that tagged onto the price tag from the beginning? Well, that's just the way the dealers do it. And I said, so that it's kind of deceiving to the customer. He goes, oh, well, yeah, in a way, I guess, yeah. Well, anyway, by the time they rang it all up, it was quite a bit more than I was expecting, but that's fine. I had already made the commitment. We were going to get him a bike. He was really excited. He was really looking forward to it. And when he finally put two and two together and realized that we were sealing the deal on that bike, he was infatuated with it. He sat on it. He wouldn't get off of it. I just had to pull some money around and rob Peter to pay Paul to be able to, help out with it. But and we told him, save your $500 because you're going to need a helmet and some other things too. So we ended up pulling the trigger and we got that pit bike for him. And boy, that kid was beaming from ear to ear. And I was happy too. I think, there's nothing better than having your own motorcycle when you're a kid and learning how to ride. Now, this pit bike has a clutch in it, the one we got him. So he had never used a clutch before. So we were showing him how to use the clutch, but his hands are so small, his fingers are like this on the clutch lever, trying really hard to pull it in. And then when he's letting it out, he'd get almost where it start to grab, and it would slip out of his fingers. And of course, the clutch would pop, and whoop, the thing would take a little leap. But he was able to get moving and ride the thing. And once he got going, there was no stopping him, around and around. And he still was having trouble with the clutch. Anyway, we ended up taking a trip down to Columbus to what the store's called the Iron Pony. It's a motorcycle superstore. They have all kinds of stuff. They got almost every kind of bike you can think of. Hondas, Kawasaki's, Yamahas, Harleys, Triumphs, Indians. They had Ducatis and Aprilas and brands that I never even heard of before. But it's cool just to go around and look at all the bikes. But then the store itself, hundreds and hundreds of helmets. I mean, they had a whole section just for motocross helmets. So we were able to go over there, and we found like a $250 helmet that was on sale for 89 bucks. So he grabbed that, and it was perfect. It was the same color of his bike and everything. It couldn't have been any more perfect. He wanted some racing gloves, so he got some, nice racing gloves with the rubber grips to help him with the clutch. I don't know if it'll help him or hinder him, but that's what he wanted. And then he wanted the racing numbers to put on his bike. So his football number is 11, so he wanted 11 on his bike, so we bought some of the decal numbers to put on his KLX. So that kid is as happy as can be. He's got his motorcycle now. He's riding it all the time. He's letting his sisters ride it too, which is kind of fun because his one sister, she got on it, and she was really, really good with the clutch. But for some reason, she's afraid to turn. She doesn't know how to turn a motorcycle, and she went straight right into the weeds. And it was kind of comical. She didn't get hurt or anything. She just plowed into the weeds and then stopped. We just had to pick the weeds out of the shift lever and stuff like that. So anyway, that was a lot of fun. And so when I go over there for this family get together, I'm taking the mini bike, and then he'll have his bike. My brother's son's coming with his pit bike, so the kids are just going to be ripping around on their little motor bikes around and around and tearing the yard up. So it ought to be a fun time. I probably showed you before, but I've been working on my wife's Nissan Rogue. And just cleaning it up, making it look real sharp. It's been sitting for a long time and hadn't been used, so I wanted to make it back roadworthy again. I told you that the mice got under the hood and everything, and it was a mess. There was mouse pee and mouse poop all over the engine. The battery was dead. I had to replace the battery. And then I decided to keep going with it. I knew I had to clean up the motor because it smelled like mouse pee. So I detailed the entire engine compartment. Let me get some light on here. Yeah, I cleaned it all up, got all the dirt off, painted I got some aluminum paint and I painted the manifold. I looked online and there was a couple people that had done restorations on motors and they showed me the kind of paint I should use. I painted this manifold cover down here. Everything was clean, spotless, and used some stuff to blacken up the hoses and all of that. So I was pretty happy with that. I thought, man, that looks like a brand new motor now, and it doesn't smell like mouse pee anymore. I got it all cleaned up. I probably got 12-15 hours just into that alone. So after that I decided to keep going with it. So I've been pulling off each one of the wheels and painting the brake calipers. So they're all painted red. Looking pretty sharp there. It had dealer plate covers on there, so I took those off and I got these polished stainless steel ones I put on there. It had the Fred Ganley dealership decal on there that kind of looked like this. So I removed that, and I've been thinking about taking the cat off of the back too, but Val loved that cat on there. She just thought that was the coolest thing, and I'm just torn whether I should take it off or not. So should I leave it? Should I take it? I don't know. And then I'm considering getting some wheels for this too, because it's got the stock wheels on here. So I'm thinking some white rims would look really good on this white car. I think it would make it really pop and look really cool. And then I might drive it, because it's a really clean car. It runs great now. I've had it in the shop and had it serviced and everything, got the air conditioner fixed, so it's ready to roll. And yeah, it's been a fun project. You know, there's more thunderstorms in the forecast today. I hadn't planned on riding anyways because I got company coming over and I got so much to do. I had to forfeit a ride this week, believe it or not. Yeah, because I had other engagements. I couldn't do it. But I just thought I'd give you a quick peek at my garden. It's doing well. I weeded it for the second time. It can use weeded again. I put the pink ribbon up there because the deer actually leapt over the fence and were in my garden, so I had to get rid of them. And you know what, I haven't been out here in a couple days, and this is looking a little interesting here because this garden has like exploded since probably 3 days ago. But look at this, I got a tomato down there that's almost ripe. Unbelievable. And there's a lot more tomatoes on the vine, but they're still green. But look at this. These things ballooned up overnight. I've got 3 zucchinis there that are ready to pick. Good grief. Am I behind here or what? And then I've got, what do we got over here? These are the squash. So I'm not seeing any squash there. What do we got down in here? Got some little squash, but nothing ready to pick yet that I can see. But yeah, the garden has just exploded. My sunflowers are already as tall as me. Probably the deer ate those off when they were in the garden. There's another one they ate off. So, yeah, they were chewing on them. But look at this squash vine coming all the way out here already. Those will be getting ripe pretty soon. And then I'll be swamped with tomatoes. And I've already got over here where is that thing? Right there, got a green pepper ready to be picked. So, like I say, I'm swamped with stuff, and I neglected the garden for a couple days, and now it's ready to be, given some attention. So I'm gonna have to get out here later if I have time, even this evening, and maybe I can pick that tomato, pluck those zucchinis and that green pepper, and those will be my first fruits of the harvest. The weeds have just been taken over. I have been struggling with, I hate weeding. Nobody likes to pull weeds, but the weeds are just prevalent and they grow faster than the plants. So, being that I like to keep everything in my yard landscaped nicely, I've been pulling weeds out here, but as fast as I pull them, they're coming right back up again. So these ones have been weeded, but this has not been weeded, so you'll see the difference. Yeah, all weeds over there that need to be plucked. These flowers are covered in weeds. And I did weed some of this asparagus out. These are the asparagus, these real, airy, fluffy things. But there's more back in here, so I need to keep, and it's really hard to weed because the grass doesn't pull out easy. And you don't want to pull out the asparagus plants either. So, yeah, I hate it. They're just taking over. Real quick here, my black-eyed Susans are going to start popping. So, this whole area here will be all yellow, and it'll look real pretty, but I don't have time to deal with it right now, so the weeding bucket stays there for now, and I'm just going to have to get back to it some other time. Well, thanks for taking a little walk with me and listening to me today. I hope your weekend's been a good one. And I appreciate all you guys. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your comments. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you haven't yet, please subscribe and join us. And till next time, cats, I'll catch you later. What am I gonna do next here?